What was your favorite movie you saw this year?
Favorite movie?
This is not going well.
No, it's not. My memory betrays me yet again.
Alright, what was the best worst movie you saw this year?
The best worst movie I saw this year? What was the one we watched last night called?
Zathura.
Zathura. It was really something.
Yeah, you fell asleep. You didn't even see the ending.
Probably could have guessed it.
What would you do if you found a penguin living in our freezer?
Probably be very confused as to how it got there. Probably just keep it there though.
Are you a hunter or a gatherer?
Gatherer.
Why do you say that?
I tend to be more passive when I do things.
What do you think is most unfair about your life right now?
Nothing really. I feel like I'm getting dealt a hand that makes sense.
What are your thoughts about driving and getting your license?
I hate it.
What was your greatest accomplishment this past year?
I'd say that I did personally really well at the PIL Jazz Festival. Thought I kicked butt.
I agree. His solo was awesome. What frightened you the most this past year?
Probably that very same solo, to be frank. It's always interesting to get up in front of 1,000 give or take people and try and do anything.
If you could be a tree, what kind and where would you grow?
I want to be a redwood. They're just pretty dope trees. I mean, they look pretty and whatnot, and I'd probably want to go down in California just so people would admire me.
Where do you want to go on vacation next year?
It would be nice to go down to California. I don't know why.
In 10 years, which one of you AC boys will have the most prominent Google search story attached to his name? And what will that story be?
I'm gonna go ahead and guess that it'll be Ian with some sort of a felony.
What would you title your autobiography?
I wrote this ?
When was the last time you cried?
It's been a while. I think at Clackamas?
Speech tournament?
Speech tournament.
And what was the occasion?
I didn't do too well.
The not getting the recognition you thought you deserved?
It was just a stressful time.
What was the luckiest thing that happened to you this year?
I don't know, I haven't been entering many lotteries lately. Give me that.
Dun dun dun. If you had graduated from high school last week, what would be your next big move?
Figuring out what to do with myself?
That's way too general.
It's way too general. Okay.
I'm going to Stanford next week, or I'm rooming with my friend and we're going to PCC Sylvania together, or I'm going to work on a cruise playing in a band, and it's a worldwide cruise for rich people, and I'm hoping for good tips to save up for college.
I think I'd take a spiritual vacation somewhere. Maybe go on a month-long hike, backpacking, just to try and really see inside myself.
What was the most embarrassing moment this year?
Telling people stories of my first romance, if you will.
I hope she doesn't get miffed at hearing that. What was your favorite concert that you attended this year?
I think it would have to be Lucky Chops. They were probably also the cheapest tickets I got, but they'd been a big inspiration on my early instrumental career, and I actually got to talk and meet all of them.
What 3 words describe you best?
Oh, not again.
Oh no, not again.
What movie title best describes your life?
Solo.
How do you feel when you found out you made the top 2 bands in high school?
I was jazz I kind of expected because there were only 2 bones that auditioned. But for wind ensemble, I went in with the intention of just trying to see what I could improve upon myself within the actual audition materials. So sufficient to say I was surprised.
What was your favorite memory from this past year?
I think one of my favorite times through the past year was more recently at Willamette University. And I kind of got thrown into humorous interpretation, mostly because I missed my data performing class. So I was just getting it done there, and I didn't really expect to do well. But I ended up finaling it, and for whatever reason, the anxiety of performing in front of a ton of people and just hearing them laugh and actually enjoy what you do is really, I guess, heartwarming to me.
What musical instrument do you think would challenge you the most?
I'm gonna go ahead and say probably alto sax. Just having played Ian's a little bit, doesn't make sense to me. Like, everything about it's so very different from any brass instrument.
What's your favorite book that you read this year?
I think that would actually be Romeo and Juliet.
Which class do you look forward to the most each day? A and B.
A and B. Well, A is gonna be jazz. It's just always a fun time to start the morning with, even if it is a bit painful to start playing immediately after waking up. But in many senses, it's definitely serious, but it's also pretty carefree. We do a lot of stuff we probably aren't supposed to. And then for B days, it's hard because I take probably my two favorite classes. But I think advanced speech and debate, mostly because there's a lot that I actually do end up learning in that class, and I have a lot of friends that I take it with.
What was the coolest new place you discovered this year?
There's this place kind of up in Northeast. I don't know where exactly it is, I just know how to get there. But it's kind of this cool little alleyway that has lights, like fairy lights strung up year round, and it's really pretty and has some cool shops too.
Mississippi?
Maybe.
Where did you go? When did you go there? We're gonna identify it for you on screen here.
I think it was up by Belmont. That's a street, right?
But that's in Southeast.
It's in Southeast.
You said Northeast.
North of here, east. I don't know where the line is.
What shop do you remember going to?
I don't know that I actually went in any of them. I was just browsing around, probably because I didn't have any money on me. It just looked really pretty. Had a nice view of downtown, too.
Alright, we'll have to find a way to get back there.
Alright.
In 10 years, what habit or philosophy do you think you'll still feel strongly about?
Probably band. I mean, it's already been going for almost 10 years. Don't see why another 10 would make a difference.
So, playing an instrument every day?
Yeah.
What's the best restaurant you ate at this year?
Salrose.
Which friend do you trust the most? For the record, last year, it was Mabel.
I mean, I trust most of them, but it's probably gonna go to Lily.
Is she your partner in crime in Sten's class?
Yeah.
What will you remember about being a counselor at outdoor school this fall?
I'll remember the kids, not because of how sweet they are, but because of how annoying and how much fighting they got into. Basically just that children aren't always the best, but I still think it ended up being a positive experience anyways. Sometimes you do just have to deal with stuff.
What person are you most glad that you met this year?
When you say met, do you mean like...
For the first time you met this person and go, wow, I'm really glad our paths crossed today. Because A, it was a defining moment, or B, it's become a lasting, important relationship in your life.
I think for this year, that would have to be Maggie. I had seen her around a bit because she was also one of the team captains, but I wasn't on her squad, so I never really talked to her personally. But I started getting to know her this year, and it's been a ride.
If you had to change places with one of your friends, who would you choose?
I know. I mean, is this like a permanent swap kind of thing, or like you get to be there for a day or two?
For a week.
For a week, alright. I think I'd swap places with Lily. Her sisters are super cool.
Younger or older sisters?
Older.
So they're home from college and such.
Yeah.
What would you put for your quote in the yearbook this year?
It's been real, it's been good, but it ain't been real good.
What was the dumbest thing you did this year?
I mean, I do a lot of dumb stuff every year. Kind of an overarching theme of this year was just not acting on things. Ghost Train.
That's really cool. I've never heard it that long before.
Okay, I think it's gone. Anyways, there were a lot of opportunities that I had to just act on, I guess, emotions that I never really ended up doing anything about either because I was scared or nervous.
And is that a continuing theme, or
Yeah.
are you working on changing that?
I like like to think that I'm working on changing it, but just recently I missed another one too, so you never know.
What are you better at than most of your peers?
I think I know how to engage a crowd pretty well, whether that's in band or speaking. Like I believe, a lot of tools at my disposal in order to captivate people.
In 10 years, what do you think will be most different about you?
My hair, it's been a changing theme throughout the years.
Name one place you realistically hope to visit this year for the first time.
This year,
Next year.
it would be interesting to go down to Santa Clara University for the tournament there.
And what are the chances at right now of that happening?
The team's going. I'm not sure about myself though.
What's in the way of that? Is it because only 10 people can go and so Gonzo has to take the top 10?
Well, it's a bit of a money commitment. He's not too worried about how many people actually want to go.
Any final statements you'd like to make? Any dance moves you'd like to show off?
Please no.
Please, yes?
No.
Okay. Full body view. Alright.
You focusing?